Hi guys, it's actually 10 to 4 in the afternoon. Only now I'm having a chance to actually sort of have a sort of think about putting a video up and feel the urge to sort of come and say stuff. Um, so basically, today I want to talk about your own reality. Um, and I think there are so many things that we can believe in, absorb ourselves in, and this is great, you know. Life is all about experiencing and learning. Um, and whatever you find yourself being absorbed in is great, but make sure that you don't get so attached to it that that becomes who you are. And because it's only an extension of what you're experiencing anyway. Um, and you're looking at the world from your own desires and your own need to sort of be loved and accepted. And that comes within the core of the good enough place anyway. So you've got the power all along, you know, you've had the power all along, you're just not really aware of it, you know. So just be mindful of your own reality and your own power within, you know, that whole core of you, which is absolutely beautiful, you know, and the core of you is good enough, you know, and it is a diamond in itself, it's a crystal in itself, you know, the core of you. So I suppose what I need to sort of want you to sort of think about today is your own reality, what you perceive to be the truth, because you are the truth. Within you, you have the truth, you know. If you think of it as a mountain to enlightenment, you've got a mountain and at the top is where you're going to get enlightenment. There's a lot of different paths to get to the top. You know, there's not just one spiraling path that is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God, if there is a God. There's lots of different paths that you can go on to reach that point of enlightenment. And every experience is a good experience, whether it's a bad or a good, you know, because it teaches you something. Oh, it's my phone. What I'm sort of thinking of, that I want you to sort of look at, sorry that distracted me then, is what do you want to run away from yourself for, you know? By looking for outside influences and forces that will give you that inner truth, that knowing, that knowledge, that this is the way life is and this is because of this, and you know, it's all very well and good, but you have that ability within. Every single human being has the ability to be an empathic, to be psychic, to be able to see vibration. Everybody has that ability because you're born with that ability, but life has suppressed you to see life as just being this materialism world that we live in, you know. So maybe look at your own truth. You know, you are the truth is within you. The love you seek is right within you. You know, the core of you is that good enough place. So sorry if I burst anybody's bubble, but you are good enough. You know, you are good enough without any outside influences. Even though experiencing that outside perception from somebody else's perspective of the world is fantastic, because it gives you a different sort of view. You know, there is no right, there is no wrong, there is just good enough, you know, there is just, there's difference in it all. So it's different. Good enough and is one thing. Good enough is the core of you. But everything outside of that is different, you know, so you could experience one thing and think that's the truth. You could experience another and think that's not the truth, that's not the way the life is, you know, and you put all your energies into that one way of experiencing life. And it's about you creating your own reality, really, and trusting the core of you, you know, trusting who you truly are. You know, that core that you was born with, that knows, you know, that inner knowing, that pure innocence, that whole core that you was actually born with, you know. So, and I think when you start looking at you being good enough and that in a good enough place that you will work from, every experience will be different, you know, because you trust your inner compass, you trust your inner core, you know, however anybody wants to describe this, because there is so many different perceptions on what life is about. You know, this isn't a planet, this is, you know, this is just a massive energy, you know, you can come from it from that angle, you can come from it from any angle, really, you know. And where you ground yourself is how your life will be and your reality. But the core is, and the true truth is within you. Every single one of us has that inner core, that inner knowing. but it's trusting yourself enough by merging the dark with the light and the good with the bad, and looking at the core of you, warts and all, with who you truly are, and learning to love the warts, the negative sides of yourself, because when you see them, you can't change them. And it's in changing them that life is, it's a lovely place to be, because you begin to really like who you are and truly love who you are, and you won't look for outside influences to give you that love, that approval, because you are good enough anyway, and it's from that good enough place, when you start working from that good enough place, from that core of who you truly are, you don't need to feel like a victim anymore, because you're creating your own experiences. You're putting yourself in situations where you will learn something, and it's not about having that victim sort of mentality. And it's on the flip side of the coin. If you look at it from another point of view, it's not from that good enough place. You don't have this need to be better than to become something that is amazing, because you're amazing already. You don't need that approval from outside people. And so from that good enough place, it stops you being a victim, but it also stops you wanting to be better than, to be more than. Yes, you can go and try different stuff, and you can become professionals in your fields and all the rest of it, but there's not that need, there's not that inner longing, to become good enough than the next person, because nobody is better than the next, and I can't keep stressing that enough, because every single human being has the ability to achieve something, and it's not about being better than or less than. It's not about that. It's about your own individual progression with life, and what you achieve and what you actually experience for your own learning. So I think that's what sort of come about today. And that's what I sort of need to sort of say to whoever's listening to this today. I did have a gift of yellow roses today, which was confirmation for me, because my grandmother, when she died, yellow roses and yellow was all around her. So the friend that brought that for me today, those roses today, just sort of in the gift of love that she sort of gave me the flowers, was also a message that my grandmother's right by my side, and she is confirming that I need to sort of maybe bring some flowers into my life, a bit more happiness towards everything. And I got this feeling now that I'm talking too much. It's tuning into my senses as well. I should have had a glass of water, and normally when I do these videos I've got a drink or something to sort of keep my saliva going, so I can keep talking about whatever I'm talking about. So again, every single human being has the ability, to become psychic on some level, to become an empathic on some level, to be able to cast on some level. Whatever you ground yourself in, you will learn from. But every human being is no better than the next. Nobody is more special than the next person, because every single human being is special in their own right. And I think this good enough stuff is what that's about. People are coming from experiencing life from a place which isn't good enough, or even the good enough wanting to be more than is not a good enough place, because it's not good enough. It's more than good enough, and that doesn't make you any more special. That doesn't make you any better than the next person, because that in itself is something that maybe you need to address. Everybody is good enough. Every single human being is good enough and amazing in their own right. And again, working from your truth, working from the truth of who you are, warts and all, gives you very different experiences in life, because you learn to trust who you are. You learn to trust the senses that you get in. So when your sensory perception will change, you do trust it, even those that intuition feeling, something's not right here or whatever, rather than thinking, you're just being silly, you tend to trust it more. You will call in on the higher vibration of sensory perceptions that you have. You know, when you see things differently, you'll hear things differently. And every sort of vibration that you have, there will be a shift in. You will work from that, you know, so don't doubt yourself, really. You are good enough. And I can't keep stressing that enough, you know. You are good enough. And if there's elements of doubt that creep into that, then that's where you need to address stuff, you know. It's developing the good enough place so you can sort of notice the shifts in this spiritual awakening that's occurring for humanity. But until people sort of look at the core, real core, you know, the good enough core, which is very much, you know, it is a crystal, you know, it is an amazing, unique crystal, you know, that hasn't even been found yet, you know, on the planet, if you want to think of it from a scientific point of view, or, you know. So in you, in every single one of you, is a unique crystal, you know. It's something that you can actually give to the world, and in itself it's amazing, you know. It's not about this little bit that you give. That little bit will have such an impact on somebody's life, you know. You don't know the ripple effect of something that you say or you do will have on that other person's life, you know. And the core of people is really good, you know. The core of the vast majority of people is really, really good, you know. It's when you get attached to certain things that you think your life should be a different way, or your life will be a different way if you engage in this, or if you become this, or, you know, that is an aspect in itself where there's that element of control over the power that you have within you. So maybe look at what you're looking at, what you're addressing, what you were focused on. You know, what is that focus giving you? You know, what are you achieving from being so focused, so grounded in that one aspect of being in this world? Because there's so many different dimensions, there's so many different perceptions on what life is all about. And having the ability to sort of maybe trust going into a different direction, or, you know, sort of looking at something else and thinking, okay, that doesn't fit with me, and that's fine. It's just different, you know. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just different, you know. But becoming so engrossed in, you know, fighting your cause and fighting what this is for and what that is for, you're actually missing on the whole experience of this inner vibration of love, okay? Because it's in you. Every single one of us have that ability, and we are born with that, you know. So be aware of your attachment to things, because it's not who you are. It's a perceived reality, you know. What you are experiencing is perceived. It's your perception, you know. You don't know that the next person that you talk to hasn't got a very different perception on what everything around them looks like, you know. Your idea of purple may be someone's idea of green, you know. So there is so many different dimensions and realities on what life is about, and yours is just yours alone. So just be mindful of that, really, and what you actually do become attached to. And for some reason today, I'm talking about crystals, and I've actually realised I've got two of my crystals that I should have been rolling in my hands. And like I said, there's aspects of my spiritual self that I sort of utilise and call on at different times. Neither's right, neither's wrong. It's just different, and it works for me, and that is okay. You know, that is absolutely fantastic in itself. So I'm going to say goodbye now. I'm probably not going to do another video tonight unless something really important comes to me and I feel that I need to actually put it on video and put it out there. I want to say thank you again to my friend for my lovely gift of my yellow roses. They really did make me smile, and that was a lovely thought. Thank you for that. So I'm going to say goodbye now. It's 4:05, so I'm going to go and do some tea now and have something to eat because I'm feeling a bit peckish. So have a lovely evening if I don't speak to you later, and just remember, you are completely good enough without all the other attachments that you have. The core of you is amazing, and you just need to start seeing that. Okay, you take care. Bye.